Welcome to this week's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Stephanie Hall, the Vice President of Sales at Quality Leasing. Thanks for joining me, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. I'm excited to be here.
What people aren't going to realize in this video is I was going to say Fireside Chat with Stephanie, but I guess that makes sense. But I just,
I mean, it is.
Brain fog. But thanks again for taking the time to join me today. For those people in equipment finance stuff who might not know you, do you mind just kind of introducing yourself?
So I am currently Vice President of Sales at Quality Equipment Finance.
Okay, I messed that up, so I'm sorry. I still said Quality Leasing.
We rebranded. We've got a brand new look. I will push a whole bunch of marketing your way so you don't forget.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome in advance. But I started in equipment finance a minute ago. I was with Bryn Mawr Equipment Finance for more than a decade. I went on and worked for an independent that focused more on challenge credit for a few years. And then I started a small ticket division for a bank-owned equipment finance division based in Chicago. And then recently came to Quality in October, but I've been very involved in the industry. I'm a past president of the National Equipment Finance Association, was on the Chris Walker Education Fund Committee, serve on the Advisory Council of Equipment Finance Cares. You may know them. Starting a Women in Leasing committee with Sherry Lipsky for the National Equipment Finance Association. I mean, I can keep going. Served on the Small Ticket Steering Council Business Committee for the LFA.
So basically, you're kind of a big deal. I
have many leather-bound books.
That's fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure knowing you throughout your career in equipment finance.
Likewise.
No, sort of. Maybe the Jesse, the last 5 years, maybe.
You're growing up nicely.
The OSG Jesse, he was kind of weird.
For Jesse.
So let's talk quality equipment finance, if you don't mind. I get it, the leasing. I understand that. I just, for some reason, I think the LinkedIn page still says Quality Leasing, and maybe that's why.
It doesn't. Take a look. Take a look. Okay.
Well, for some reason, there's somewhere I saw Quality Leasing still. So maybe I'll yell at Paul. Maybe it's Paul's fault.
It would definitely be my fault if it's out there somewhere. So
then I'm not. Then we're just gonna leave this here. Then it's my fault.
But so we transitioned from quality leasing to quality equipment finance, which I think it's the way the market has gone, right? So leasing's kind of encapsulating it in leasing is a bit antiquated, and what we all do is more than that. And what we do is commercial equipment finance, and we needed to brand to be more in line with what we're actually practicing. So it just made sense.
I wasn't sure why you didn't call it quality small ticket finance, but.
Well, because you might be surprised to know that we don't really pigeonhole ourselves as a small ticket lender. And again, a vague line about where these delineations are, but we'll find up to 3 million. So
I was just saying, as the queen of small ticket, like that's, I mean, selfishly, if I can brand something, right?
Yeah, I've been called the queen of way worse things, so I'll take the queen of small ticket.
While this is not a child-friendly show, it is recorded on the internet, so we'll just move on to, talk more about quality. So
I didn't mean anything inappropriate.
I know. I'm a child. So, so do you mind just kind of talking about, so Quality is in Indianapolis.
Yeah, so we're based in Indianapolis. We are an independent funding source. We fund transactions from $30,000 up to $3 million. Basically anything with a serial number or a VIN. So both titled and non-titled equipment. We do new and used, private party sales, and really our approach is kind of a whole picture underwriting approach. So we don't have a box that we're tied into. If we can make sense of a deal, we do it. And we'll do some other things in the market that other people won't. So we're a good home for transactions that might not fit a very clearly defined set of parameters.
Well, and that must be kind of a, working for banks and then independents. I mean, we'll talk about that real quick. I'm sure it's a little breath of fresh air because I'm sure when you're at a bank, you're like, this deal's fantastic, but doesn't
Yeah.
really fit.
It is very different. I mean, in a bank, you answer ultimately to a board of directors or
Mhm.
shareholders. And when you have, and every sort of auditor under the sun.
Mm.
So you can't make exceptions without citing them and reporting. And that the freedom of an independent is really refreshing. I've been with an independent before, and it is not that we don't have confines given
Sure.
what, our bank lines, but we're able to make common sense decisions in a way that you can't sometimes in a bank. And it's a wonderful thing.
No. So when you join Quality, I don't even know how many was it? Are you 4 months in? 5 months?
I am 2.5 months in.
That's like a year already. We'll just round it.
Dog years.
I guess what drew you to the organization? Because as the proverbial queen of small ticket, I could picture you potentially going to work anywhere.
It's interesting. A lot of people have asked me this because I have spent a lot of time in bank owned also. So it was a couple of things. I've known Paul for a decade, and I've known a lot of the people on the sales team for as long or longer. And so I knew the quality of the people that were there in that respect. But really, what ultimately got me there was going there and meeting the entire team and getting a glimpse of the culture and the fact that they have core values that they talk about and want to live and perpetuate. And it really is just a wonderful place to work. I'm so happy to be here.
No, I was fortunate to have them as a customer in my previous life. And yeah, from Kendra, Alyssa, that Daryl, I mean, all that group is just a good group of people behind the scenes. And then you throw,
Yeah.
I mean, what must be exciting for you as the VP of sales is you throw a May in there and Braden, I think Connor, am I getting the names right here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you throw that team together and it's like, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've got Pat O'Connor, we've got Andre Clifford, who I worked with before, Jim Plummer and Donna, who've been there forever, Zach. We've got a new guy, Robbie, who's great. I mean, we just have a really good team. We have weekly sales meetings, and I look forward to seeing my team's faces every week. It's awesome. I could not ask for a better team, really.
Now, are you on the camera too?
I am.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't know that they look forward to seeing my face, but I look forward to seeing
I had to ask the question because every time I don't just call Steph, I set up Zooms or Teams, and I'm like, okay, is she going to show her face today, or we get the Steph today, or
Jesse? You've tried to get me on Mondays a lot to see if I'm wearing a baseball cap.
It's okay. I mean, I think my hair went through a weed whacker, but regardless, there's still some there.
Just a little off the top.
I went to the lady, is like, well, what do you want? And the notes say a 0 up to a 4. And I'm like, yeah, and leave the top a little. I'm like, never mind.
She left a little.
No, like she started shit. I'm like, the best was at the end where she goes, what product do you have? I'm like, typically something to spike the front. Oh, wait. But yeah, but this is way off the rails
Just
here.
like
So
very
sorry.
clean cut, Jesse.
Yeah, just very, yeah. Makes my face look fatter. Makes my face look fatter than, no, just make my face look fat. Yes, but on a more serious note, I want to talk about the kind of trade associations. I know we did a NIFA chat about a year ago, and going to those conferences and some of those relationships that you have within the ELFA and NIFA. Steph, what does that mean to you in your career?
Oh gosh, it's everything. I am such a vocal proponent of being involved in associations. They've done so much for me. I mean, not just for my career, but also personally. So when I started in equipment finance, I mean, we're all born into this or fall into it by accident, and I fell into it by accident, so I had no experience. But a few years in, at that time, we were only part of the AACFB, which was NAELB. And it was Mike Kuhn at the time who suggested that I get involved with NIFA. And so Bryn Mawr became part of NIFA. And my first conference, he introduced me to Marcy Slagle and Linda Tiers and said, you guys need to mentor Stephanie. And they just scooped me up and introduced me to everybody they knew. And it was a game changer for me. I mean, professionally. So right after that, my volume increased by 50% the next month because of the relationships that I'd started to form so quickly. But even just personally, I've now, got to save the date the other day for Marcy's daughter's wedding, or, like just went to Spain with a broker friend over the summer. I mean, I'm just so entrenched in the industry, and it's come from being involved in the associations that have affected me as a whole. And I'm so happy to be a part of it.
No, and it's not just the personal stuff that you've done. It's also like you actually volunteer your time for these associations too. And time's difficult sometimes, but especially becoming president of something. So
yeah, I mean, well, so when something gives something to you, you want to give back. And so really, I enjoyed serving on the board at NIFA. I've enjoyed being on committees with AACFB and ELFA, with EFC. I mean, it matters to me. Our industry matters to me, and we make a difference for people. We make a difference for end users because we give them the tools they need to make a living, but we really care about each other also in a way that I've not seen other industries care for each other. And I will always do everything I can to make our space better.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. And then, so you went from AACFB to NEFA, and now like, how long have you been going to ELFA events?
Couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's like slowly getting up there, right?
I mean, is that how it goes? Is it a graduation?
I have no idea. If anything, I went the opposite direction.
I mean, I really think it depends on the kind of business that you're doing at the time, where you are, like what your role is in your company. So there are a lot of factors that determine in what association you should plug into. And maybe it's all of them, but maybe it's only one, and that's okay too.
Yeah, I've been fortunate where I've always been on the business development side. So as long as I can build a business case, much like yourself, it's like I can go.
Yeah, it's exhausting sometimes.
It can be, but oh well, right? I mean, so I need to go to Florida and I get to stay at this hotel and I get to take people out to dinner. I get to do this, like, oh
yeah, it's a tough job.
This is terrible. Now the liver would agree that it's what he's doing again. But I want to say when the Monitor came out with their top women in equipment finance, were you in the first edition?
I was in the inaugural issue, which
I figured as much. However, like I've caught myself on these where it's like, oh no, I didn't make the first cut. I was in the second one. I'm like, sorry, I didn't know. You should have been the first one. So.
I was really honored to be a part of that. It was really humbling and surprising. And is that Rory in the background?
Yeah, this is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, it's the joys of Rory. Rory, say hi to Stephanie, and then please go play. Okay.
Hi, pretty girl.
Okay. Love you. Go play in your room. And then knocks the button off. This is fantastic. This is great. This is great theater here. So we'll just kind of keep it going here. So being a part of that, and just over the years, just kind of what you've seen and just participation levels of the amount of females attending conferences, I guess women attending conferences.
Yeah.
Like, what have you seen, Steph?
So my very first association event ever was a NIFA Crab Fest. And I walked into the restaurant and there was only one other woman and it was Sherry Lipsky. And she just scooped me up there too. I was really lucky. And then my first event of any kind, there were 5 women in the room and the rest were all men. And I mean, gosh, we've come such a far way. I mean, to see how many women there are involved, but also just even the young people and people of color. Like, we have diversified so much in such a meaningful way. I know we have a long way to go, but I do think that we've come a long way in a short amount of time. And I'm proud of what we're done and what we're continuing to do.
And not only that, though, it's not just the participation, it's starting to see more people in vice president, president roles as well.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Absolutely. We need diversity of people, diversity of thought, diversity at all levels of the organization. And I'm hopeful for us.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Apparently Rory's going to be a part of this entire thing because
I'm okay with it. She's having a good time.
Yeah, she's having a great time. It's like, what's Dad going to do? He's recording. Like, he's not going to yell at me on this thing. So, sorry.
So we're going to get a little dance.
Oh.
You said, come here.
No, that's not what I said. Go sit down there. I'm so sorry, Steph.
I don't mind this at all.
All right. Anyhow, Brooke will be like, "Oh, that's good. People like kids." Like, yeah, for like a second, and then we move on. Yeah, so I also appreciate your volunteerism to EFC. Being on that advisory council, coming to our events. Going to a few of those shows, kind of seeing some of these charities, like people that are affiliated with them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm so grateful to be a part of Equipment Finance Cares, and having been at the events, it's really meaningful to see what matters to the people that we work with every day. And we have such good people in our space who dedicate their time to causes that are personal to them or that matter to them in some way. And the fact that this is an organization that is trying to help support those endeavors, I love that I'm a part of it, because I think that, we dedicate our waking hours, the majority of them, to what we do for a living. And it's so wonderful to know that the people that we're spending most of our waking hours with care about us as people and the things that are near and dear to our hearts. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. And I think that it's been really well received in the industry, and that the people that I've spoken to while there have really enjoyed the events. And I'm looking forward to the lineup for 2023.
No, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I echo your sentiments there. And it's when you see a lot of these people in the industry, you're like, oh God, that person's so uptight. But then you understand where it's like, oh, they have this softer side to them too, and this is what they do in their free time, and this is how much they give back to their community or a foundation. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, and we have had some good involvement. I'm looking forward to seeing more people join us this year.
Yeah. Plus, we have our first golf tournament coming up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with leasing golf. Crab feast, we're going to be there. So yeah, it'll be a fun year for us for sure.
For sure.
And this just continues to happen. So sorry. Like, super distracted. Like, come on, kid. Like running around this room on the couches and everything. It's like, yeah, this is the most professional one of these I've done.
She knows it's a safe space, but I'm okay with it.
It's like, oh, come on, kid. But anyhow, sorry. I'm trying to think of other questions. Like, I got you on the spot. Like, I want to almost ask you anything, but I can't. I can't. Any special travel coming up this year?
Special travel this year. What do I have? Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I was actually just in Nashville for New Year's Eve, which was a great time, but decided that I was gonna go back. I'm gonna go back for CMA Fest in June. Or did you mean business travel? Because we can talk about that too.
No. The business stuff's we already covered that. We're fine.
Okay. I'm hoping to go to Greece at some point, and November, Mexico for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the fun travel. And maybe some other little things. I think I'm gonna go to Florida in March, a couple things here and there, but yeah. But we've got a great lineup for association travel also.
Yeah, yeah, you see that, and it's like I was looking at the other day, and it was like, okay, funding conference, Con Expo, Vegas, St. Patty's Day, March Madness, and there's a conference in town. Like,
Careful. And then right after that is NIFA San Diego.
Yep.
There's a lot happening. And then there's the Women Leadership Conference in Chicago in April. And I mean, just so many things. April Dallas for EFC also.
Yeah.
We've got so many places to be.
It'll be a fun year. Get those miles in.
Yeah.
You just missed. I texted Jeremy and he came and got his sister. That was fun.
That was very stealthy.
Oh yeah, he knows. He was just like watching her, and he's like horrified. He's like, "Oh my god, what is she doing?" At least she's clothed. That's the worst part about working from home. Was my camera on this device was pointed at my door. She's fine.
You never know what you're gonna get.
No, it's like the door opens up and I'm like, I have no idea what's about to come in this door. Like, just so we're clear.
Avert your eyes.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm breaking any laws here, but I'm like, just turn off my no, it's like, I don't want to, I don't know. We live in a messed up world. So on that note, I ask everyone who comes on here a fun fact about themselves. So
just one?
Well, I mean, we have time.
Fun fact. I don't know. I mean, I have some weird things. Those are fun, I guess. I am a really great amateur cake decorator. I'm great with fondant. And I make some cakes for my niece and nephew's birthdays, which I'm happy to show you pictures of sometime. What else? I really enjoy tequila. I think that is a fun fact. Good tequila. And I can carry a tune. I was offered a scholarship to sing in college. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that here. For the record, that takes much tequila to get me there.
One fun fact blends into the other one. Got it. Yeah. And you should see me when I'm drinking tequila, making cakes, and singing. Then you just
the best version of myself at that time.
If I was doing all three of those things, people would be deaf and it'd be a terrible cake. And I would not feel well the next day.
I sip it like an adult.
It's tequila. You just got to get through it. I guess I can. I don't know. You tried to culture me on tequila. You think you and Reed, and it's just I'm not there.
We'll get to there.
I'm kind of a this guy. So it's like you drink tequila. Yeah, it's like there's no moderation with tequila. It's just whatever gets it by faster. But anyhow. I guess I'll be mature here. And then in closing, it's so hard for me. But why should people want to do business with Quality Equipment Finance?
I love that you asked that. We've got a really great sales team, and we've got a good product that gets deals done when others can't, but our team is really willing to help you figure out how to make that happen also. So we find ways to make sense of deals that other people can't. And we legitimately care about our relationships with our originators, but also the end user. And we always want to do right by them. So we won't try to do anything egregious, and we're going to make it so that that borrower wants to go back to our broker and really just give them the best experience possible. It's a great place. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to do business with. Paul doesn't even know we're doing this video, so he doesn't know that I'm saying all these wonderful things, but I mean them.
No, that's fantastic, Steph. I'm excited. When you told me that you were moving on, I was curious. And then when I saw the decision, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I can see why that definitely is a good match. So
Yeah. And really, I just can't speak enough about the team. I've never seen people more willing to work together towards a common goal than I have from this entire organization. And it's really wonderful.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate your time today. It's always good seeing you. Jealous that you were in Nashville for New Year's. I mean, I think I was.
Great.
I don't know. Brooke. I had champagne by myself at midnight because that's what old people do.
You were just in Australia for like 3 months. You're fine.
Yeah, woe is me, right?
You're fine.
All right. Well, I look forward to what we got here. Funding conference.
I don't know that I'll be at the funding conference this year. What's next? San Diego. That's where I'll see you. San Diego.
Okay.
Yes.
Not going to go in the Ron Burgundy quote for that one. Nope. I believe it's Saint Diego. Sure. We'll agree to disagree.
You ate an entire wheel of cheese. I'm not even mad. Yeah. I'm impressed.
There's so many good one-liners. All right. Well, it's good seeing your face, and we'll be talking soon, Stephanie. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
Bye.